All right, so this video is a little bit late as far as my timeline was concerned, with like how soon I was gonna put it out when I mentioned that I was gonna do this video, but it's here, and this is dedicated to a friend of mine, Aissa. So I told you I'd get it done. And this relatively short yoga sequence of postures and kind of just things to connect your physical and mental, emotional, and breath oriented self is geared towards a sense of acceptance and putting your physical body in shapes that can connect to the symbolism of things like of things that can kind of come about with experiences like grief or physical limitations that are now presented. So for example, when I tore my ACLs, kind of coming to terms with it, my knees weren't going to respond or work the way that they did before, was going to be a reality I had to kind of become accustomed to. Or losing my brother was a new reality and things like that. And then recently, with losing my aunt, and that kind of revisiting that grief thing as a yoga practitioner and as a yoga teacher, I put together a set of, or a practice, or a class, so to speak, that I think is going to be helpful, and I hope that you enjoy it. And so it'll be I guess a quick just rundown. It's going to be focused on hips, hamstrings, and a little bit of heart opening. It's relatively short, and so just do what you can, and if there's a posture that doesn't jive with you, or if something is not quite what you're feeling, honor yourself, honor your practice. And so find a seat on your mat or wherever it is that you're practicing, and just gently close your eyes. Connect to what it is that brought you to your practice and what it is that brought you to your want to try this video or yoga in general. And really notice the images, the feelings, the thoughts that you're creating. And know that they'll be there for some time after this practice. Acknowledge them. And then, as if you're staring at a blank sheet of paper in your mind, sit up a little taller. You can place your palms face down on your knees for more of a grounding sensation, or palms face up to posture yourself in a more receiving gesture. Sit up a little taller, and like you're staring at a blank sheet of paper, focus only on your breath. As breath goes in and breath goes out. Let go of the sense of needing to move on or the next thing that's happening. Trust me, trust this video. And rather than anticipating the next movement, allow yourself to be in this space for the next few minutes. You can bring your hands to the center of your chest in prayer or an Anjali Mudra, thumbs to sternum. Set an intention or a dedication for your practice. You can set an intention like, something that is something along the lines of what you're working on. So mine have been self-assurance, self-awareness, confidence, patience. Or dedication is something along the lines of, dedicating this practice to a relationship you have with a person within yourself. You can just gently bring your eyes back open. So if you have I should have mentioned this before I started, but if you have a blanket, I have several fuzzy blankets that are my favorites. Now's your chance to bring it out. So mine's Batman right now, but I usually use my wolf blanket. And just bring it to your yoga mat. And it doesn't have to be like a yoga towel. It can be like your soft personal blanket. Creating a more personal experience. And just bring it underneath your knees. So take a moment to notice yourself and fidget a little bit. Get uncomfortable. Notice what your kneecaps feel like on the mat. Notice what your tops of your feet feel like on the mat. Really place each fingertip down and then each middle knuckle and the bottom knuckle of your hands, or the digit part. And then the palm of your hands, notice them, adjust again. And then rotate your arms so that the elbows of the eyes face forward. Spread your hands wide. We'll move through some cat-cows. On your inhale, you'll drop the belly, look up, broaden out through the collarbones. Exhale. Pull your navel into spine, around your spine like an angry cat. Inhale, shin comes up and parallel to the floor. Look up, eyes of the elbows forward. Drop the belly, full inhale. Exhale. Round your spine, navel in. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, engage. So pull up from the pelvic floor, navel to spine. And for the next 3 rounds, move through at your own pace according to your breath. You can take some movement side to side. You can kind of go back and forth into child's pose. Start to connect to what your body feels and what it needs. And give yourself permission to kind of explore movement. A couple more seconds here. And then you're going to bring your big toes together to touch. Sit your hips back down. We'll go into child's pose. Spread your hands out to touch the pinkies to touch the edges of the mat. Big toes to touch, set your hips back down. It's okay if you're more here and your hips aren't quite on your heels. Wherever you are, honor your practice. And remember that in each asana or in each posture, it's not about accomplishing it, and it's not about the progress or how well you're doing something. It is necessarily just experiencing the posture as it is in each moment. So it could be full expression, it could be, just standing and balancing, or it could be just the intention mentally of getting into a posture. It's all the same as long as you know that you're placing as much of you as you can in each moment. So find a child's pose and connect to a sense of surrendering. Connect back to maybe the time of your childhood where you were so new to experiencing. Notice what the blanket feels like when combined with the yoga mats. As you're ready, start to push yourself up. And that posture is going to be your way to connect to your self. If there's a posture in this series or in any other series that I share, or that, in any yoga class, that's always your home base. And it's a moment of surrender. It's a moment of resetting because you're a child that has grown up. So come back to your tabletop position. And we're going to go into a pretty big heart opener. It's called puppy pose. So bring your knees out a little wider and then start to walk your hands and start to drop your heart. It's going to feel, or it may feel overwhelming and kind of uncomfortable and just a lot of awkward sensation. You keep dropping your chest and try not to compensate with your knees, but just keep dropping your chest down until you feel kind of a strain, not a strain, but an overwhelming heart opening in the muscles. You can look forward, you can look to one side. And if you look to one side, just make sure you do the other side. But your knees should be a little more than hip bone distance apart. And in this type of posture, notice when it feels intense and find what kind of breath works for you. Slowly press forward into Mahavira posture. We'll go right into Sphinx pose. Your feet are about hip bone distance apart. Press the tops of your feet down to the mat. Press down through the pubic bone of the pelvis. Spread out your hands wide. Palms face down on the mat. Then start to broaden out through the collarbones. And like a sphinx, chin parallel to the floor. Look forward. And honor that very still, regal posture of a sphinx. Notice what your breath is doing and deepen it. Start maybe the Ujjayi breath. It sounds like the ocean or Darth Vader, but the practice of Ujjayi breath is to warm up your body through the practice, and it's essentially making a restricted inhale, like you're breathing through a straw with your mouth, like you're breathing through a straw, and then as you exhale, as if you're going with lips sealed. Then bring your hands together, interlace your 10 fingers, and you will start to go into dolphin pose. So forearms to the mat, start to walk your feet up. And again, drop the chest and stretch with the hamstrings. Find strength, your foundation in the forearms. Light on the toes, but a lot of stretch in the hamstrings. And allow your heart to be open, vulnerable, and dropping. And use your strength to bring your hands to the mat. Come up into your first downward facing dog. Shake it out, pedal it out. Take a moment to adjust, take a moment to fidget, take a few moments to fidget. We'll say, hold on, we'll see you in a minute with our blankets, and move it off your yoga mat. You can pedal out the feet. So bring your big toes to come in a little bit. Palms spread wide, your index finger pointing straight forward. Eyes the elbows turn forward to face the front. Bend your knees a little bit, start to pedal them out, and add a little bit of softness. Chest goes towards the knees. And really shake out your head, eye gaze between your 2 feet. Find one moment of real effort in being still and light. And then bring your feet halfway, and then let your hands meet your feet. Separate your feet hip bone distance apart. Drop your head. Start to sway, maybe go into ragdoll. Connect to that sense of waiting and just letting things be. Then take your peace end fingers and interlace your big toes, or wrap them around your big toes. And on your inhale, pull on your toes. So, you see here, yeah. As you exhale, fold. And again, inhale, pull on your toes. Straight out the spine, lengthen the crown of your head forward. Exhale, fold. Now take your hands, slide them underneath your feet for gorilla pose. If you like to walk around, I encourage at least one lap around the mat every yoga practice. In addition to kind of just loosening up and having an interesting spicing up your yoga practice thing, and giving yourself some time to be ridiculous. It's a really good hand massage, and it really gets the blood flowing in your hands. Take your hands, lay them on the mat. You roll your wrists forward, roll them back. Just start to notice what you feel with placing your hands under your feet, or what your mat feels like on your hands. Tune into those sensations. A couple more seconds of just kind of being in this forward fold. And then you're going to take your hands to your ankles, roll more weight into your toes, drop your head like a weight, and pull, roll more weight in your toes. Shoulders away from your ears. Compression of the abdominal wall. It should feel a little awkward to breathe. If this is not enough, you can take your hands and scoop them underneath your heels, elbows to touch around behind your calf muscles. Drop your head like a weight. Pull and traction your spine down towards the floor. More weight in your toes. Feel tremendous opening in the back of the legs. Then release. and slowly start to round up to stand. Bring your hands up over your head. Extend through your fingertips. Look up to the ceiling, eyes open, extended mountain pose. Screw your feet into imagine you're screwing your feet into the floor, so ground down through your big toe mound. Spread your toes out. Weight evenly distributed in your foot. Engage your quadriceps. Pelvis comes a little bit forward to be neutral. Upper body back, chin up, arms up. Take a deep breath. Bring your arms down by your side. And same thing, but this is just mountain pose. Feel the weight evenly distributed in your feet. Palms face forward, chin up, shoulders back, pelvis neutral. And take a deep inhale, arms up. Exhale, swing your right arm underneath your left arm. We're going to go into eagle pose. Pull down on your elbows, open up the back of the shoulders. Take a deep inhale, reach up, exhale, bend your knees, sit down low, stay low, pick up your right leg, swing it up and over your left leg. Point your toe to your calf muscle and then down towards the floor. Other side. Inhale, arms up. Swing your left arm underneath your right arm, crossing the elbows and wrists. Pull down your elbows. Open up the back of your shoulders. Take a deep breath, reach up out of the crown of the head. Exhale, sit down low. And then pick up your left leg and swing it up and over your right leg. More weight in the heel of your standing foot. Arch your upper body back if you're losing your balance. Deep breath in. Change. Arms up, take a deep breath in. Exhale, arms down by your side. We're going to do tree pose. So you can pick one between, if you're familiar with the 26 and 2 posture series, you can do the Bikram style tree, or you can do a vinyasa tree, or if you have your own idea of what you think a tree pose is, by all means. I'll show you the 2 variations. The hot variation of the 26 and 2 posture series is this. Ground down through your left foot with the help of your left hand. Pick up your right foot from underneath, sole of the foot facing the ceiling. Be mindful of your knee, square off your hips and shoulders, then let your knee descend. Then bring the right hand up to the center of the chest, and if the foot doesn't slip, you can bring the other hand up. And now scar. Balancing. Chin up, shoulders back, low belly in. Another form of tree is same concept, ground down through your left foot. And try not to place your foot on your kneecap, but you can place your foot on your calf muscle or at the inner thigh. Pelvis neutral, chin up, shoulders down, away from your ears. You can bring your hands to the side, center of your chest, or up. Grow your tree in whatever way suits you and serves your practice. And stay there for a few breaths. Connect to the roots of a tree. Imagine yourself as a tree. And grow tall and ground down at the same time. And when you're ready, we'll switch to the other side. So same thing goes for choosing between the 2 variations of tree, or feel free to pick your own, just be safe about it. So ground down through your right foot with the help of your right hand. You can pick up your left foot. Bring it up high in your hip crease. And that's the hot variation of tree. Or you can do the more vinyasa style tree. You can bring your foot to your inner thigh, your calf muscle, the floor. Wherever you are, honor the kind of tree you're making. It's okay if your tree wobbles and sways in the wind, like mine has been doing in this video. These wobbles and sways are not to be passed off or frowned upon. This is your body being your body. Your muscles are like, what's going on, what shape are we making? So embrace each of those by connecting back to the breath. Grow your tree. couple more breaths here. Explore a new tree shape. Whatever serves you in your practice, and we'll give it a couple more seconds. We'll all meet standing with our feet together, toes and heels touching. All right. So take a deep inhale, arms up over your head. Exhale, swan dive or fold through center line. Then go ahead and step both your feet back to downward facing dog. We are towards the end of the practice, so I'm going to end with a hip opener. And it can be kind of intense if you're not quite used to this one. And just know that that is okay. So hang out in your downward facing dog if you'd like to prep for hip opener. Start getting movement in your hips. Shake it out, pedal it out. Then bring your right leg up and bring it parallel to the front. Your shin parallel to the top of the mat into half pigeon. So it's normal for most beginner yogis or people with tight hip flexors and things to have some space here. That's where your blanket can kind of come in handy. You can use it as kind of a cushion if you don't have a yoga block, and even instead of a yoga block, kind of prop yourself there with your blanket. And you can stay here, but if your hip is on the ground, go ahead and grab a blanket. And you can use it as a pillow, or feel free to make this a cozy ending. Now, the reason for the cozy ending to this practice is the hips are I guess well known for the connection to emotion and things like that, and dancing and whatnot. But in particular, the psoas is a muscle, or is considered the muscle of the soul. And when there's times of difficulty or times of where our physical self is changing, there's an injury or things like that, or like an illness that is introduced to ourself, or our family dynamic has changed or eroded, or we lost something. That type of experience is very much connected to things like grief and this sense of being stressed. And it's no secret that the muscle of the soul is very, interwoven through the both physical experience of those situations in life, and also the more spiritual ones. So it does affect our emotional self when we are stressed and grieving, as well as our physical self. We're probably bracing and hunching forward more often, or we're less likely to take some time to just be cuddly because we're in a fight mode. We're in a some sort of different mindset. So take some time to cuddle yourself in this hip opener, because it's a good way of connecting a gesture towards yourself with a physical practice. So other side, another opportunity, so you can keep the blanket on. Kick back with the left leg. Then bring it with the shin parallel to the front of the mat. And again, it's okay if there's some space, you can use a blanket as a prop, or you can just curl up into whatever shape you're making. One thing about my yoga practice that I found so impactful was there's very few things in my understanding of the world that really allow and encourage and facilitate intentionally just laying on the floor to do nothing. And the floor, the ground, and gravity necessarily are there to hold us. We spend most of our time either not thinking about, or in some cases thinking about how we are acting or what we have to do with respect to other people and the effect on them. And it's through the yoga practice that I try to facilitate as an instructor, to remind you that the floor is always holding you. So lay on the floor and let the floor support you for just a few moments of time that are as essential as getting tasks done or objectives completed. connecting to that thing that's bigger than yourself is part of the union aspect that the word yoga means. So a few more breaths here. This posture can be intense. That pull or that stretch or the discomfort is what you want to kind of breathe into and feel. Discomfort is very different than pain. The body's very good about reacting if something is not supposed to happen. But these muscle stretching and discomfort is really something that, like situations in life that are, difficult to understand, take some breaths and trust yourself and trust your practice. And slowly come back up to downward facing dog. Make your way to a seat with a blanket wrapped around. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be like cozy-ish. And it's okay for things to be wonky. And in fact, I think that sometimes a messy yoga practice kind of helps us understand how we deal with messy things in life. So find your cozy blanket seat. Then sit up a little bit taller. And then when you're ready, close your eyes. Just take a moment to connect to the sense of you having done something for yourself. And it may not feel like something, and it may feel like something. But what you are receiving doesn't necessarily matter just yet. Instead of focusing on what you received, focus on the fact that you are present and that you have facilitated a practice that is oriented towards being present. Notice what you're physically feeling in the sensations of your sit bones on the mat, the temperature of the room. Notice what your mind is doing, if it's creating thoughts. Notice what your emotions are doing. And we'll take a deep breath in through our nose. And as we exhale, sigh it out. One more. Inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. And sit up a little bit taller again. Bring your hands to the center of your chest in Anjali Mudra or prayer. Bow in. Connect your practice, the mind intelligence to the body intelligence, and think about what brought you to your mat today. Know that you are exactly where you need to be. You can bring the hands up to the center of your forehead, connecting to the third eye space, that intuition, that knowledge and wisdom of knowing you are exactly where and who you are, and having the acceptance and the courage to accept that that is where you always need to be. It has been my honor to have guided you through this moving, breathing, and listening meditation. I truly appreciate the opportunity to share my knowledge and what I continue to learn as an instructor of yoga with friends, with people I don't know, with anybody through this technology medium that we're so fortunate to have and be able to utilize. So I hope that this is of service. And to this balance and namaste. So thank you for watching. The video is a little bit quirky because that's what you get when you get a video from Kristen. But let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like anything. If you have a video request or if this was working. Thoughts, comments, feedback is always appreciated. So I hope that whatever's going on that brought you to this video, even if it's nothing or if it's something, all are appreciated and accepted and experienced with you being the best version of yourself. So thanks again and see you next time.